most magical places on earth. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And it was very close to where the real leper colony was. It still is, but the thing is that now the leper colony is very different. It's very modern, so we couldn't shoot there, obviously. We had to build those huts that you see, and those were donated to the leper colony. But yeah, it was like a few, like 500 meters above the real leper colony.
In the confusion on languages there, where you ask what the sister said, reminds me of the sort of global village we live in, where English has taken over as the lingua franca. 19th century used to be French, now it's English. Do you find that this has dissolved borders? Do you find that this makes it easier to relate to people when you go to promote films and like that around the world than it might have been a generation ago? Do you find that it's a positive thing that English is a lingua franca?
I think in general the whole efforts to understand and interpret other people are becoming more essential. Becoming more. I mean, we have to get to a new mechanism of understanding so that we can reach a conciliation or understand other people's ideas. But combined with this effort, there has to be a structural openness as well. That in my way of understanding, I think it needs to open up. And not close itself more, because right now those structures, those sort of bureaucratic structures are restraining people's freedom to actually know about the other. I mean, it is great that we are all here, watching films, and we can see films from other countries and other languages. And if I was asked what the main importance of filmmaking is, or why doing films is important, I wouldn't mention my experience as doing films or watching them. I would relate to a beautiful anecdote that once happened to me. It was a girl that works in I mean, maybe Walter told you about this. If you were here, Walter, it was this girl in the favelas in Brazil, in Rio. She studies at this workshops that Fernando Meirelles established after doing City of God. So she's been there for 2 years now, and she has 2 kids, and she's only 21. And she was in a talk. She was asked, do you want to do cinema, or do you want to dedicate to cinema? And she stood up and said, well, I don't know if I'm going to dedicate myself to cinema. I don't know if I'm going to work in cinema at all, because I don't think I have the stamina. I don't think I have nor the rigor, nor the interest, in a way. I enjoy doing these workshops. I enjoy it. Why? And the most important reason is because thanks to watch films and to be doing and to make them, I've understood more the other's reality. That person that before watching that film seemed so far away and seemed so apart and seemed that lived in another planet altogether, all of a sudden I realized that person is not very different than I am. And I have to use that anecdote to explain why filmmaking is important. I think that's the only reason, really. There's no other thing that I can find that is like as important as that, as essential as that. It is seeing films and making them is a process of interpreting other people's reality. It's an effort to interpret that reality. And if we take away cinema from the equation or theater or literature, it becomes really hard to understand other people's reality due to the closeness now and fear that exists in borders and the walls that are being built. It becomes even harder now because to show yourself capable of crossing that border, sometimes you have to have a certified pass, and that certified pass comes from maybe you showing a bank statement before, showing that you have money, as if money wasn't an equation, as if having money meant that you are a virtue, or that you mean well. In every time Mexico and the United States share one of the longest borders that exist on the planet, and we share the same territory, you know. We happen by accident to be born there, and these walls that are being built are just going to create even more separation and more segregation, marginalization, and it's going to be more, the tension is going to get even harder, and not being able to share this territory that we accidentally are brought up into. So I think the mechanisms are not. Also, if you use the excuse that it's to secure the borders, well, that doesn't make sense.
No, because as Gregory Nava said yesterday, he said that nobody wants to build a wall between Canada and the United States.
And that's where the terrorists came from.
The 9/11 terrorists came out of the nation.
Yeah, it came from there. So you know, it's not. It won't be more secure. On the contrary, it's going to create even more fear and more fear about the other. You know. And I think an example that you can use for this, I mean, this is from the United States in particular, but it applies to everywhere in the world. And I think when we were doing the film Gael in Tijuana, in Mexico you can go to the beach or you can go straight to the wall, and you can see, and you can't see through the wall. You can see the United States. You know, you can go and there's a lot of holes, and you see how green the side everything is on the other side, and there's a lot of people watching. There's a lot of people that are looking at how does it look, and from the United States you cannot walk to that wall. Basically, you can't see Mexico from the United States. From Mexico you can't see the United States, but from the United States you can't see Mexico at all. And because there are several barriers, and there's
as there was with the Berlin Wall,
and there's no interest. Also, so it's I think that's pretty symbolic, and also this feeling of when you're in Mexico, you feel you're outside and you're looking in. Into a bubble, yeah. So it's interesting moments we're living, because apart from the efforts of interpreting other people's reality that are becoming more and more essential. And I'm very much in need and in demand. We are closing them structurally, the possibilities. And this as a human being, I mean, socially is terrible. But also, people that are